awesome video sponsor is PlayVital. Are you looking for the ultimate controller customization? Then look no further. The PlayVital Mono Eye Monster silicone cover will not only protect your Xbox Series controller, it'll also make it even more fun. Available in multiple colorways, including a silicone cover, joystick caps, and stickers to completely customize your controller. It doesn't end there either. From aim assist rings, thumbstick grips, protective cases, silicone grips, and skins for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and more. PlayVital's surely got something that will not only make you stand out, but protect your devices at the same time. For more information, check out these awesome products in the link in the description. Today's super...
And we are live. Do you like my time? I was trying to time it just
I like
right.
It. Yeah, I like it. Go from the ad straight in.
Hello, everybody.
What's
this
up?
is 128KB. We're live.
We are indeed.
Yes, this is your weekly dose of all things gaming. We're going to catch up on the news this week. And what a ridiculous week it has been.
What the actual?
Of course, we have Switch 2 Fallout, not the Bethesda version.
Yeah. Which we'll probably see coming soon.
Yeah, fair one.
Yeah,
and of course, big news from ASUS as well about the Xbox handheld. I will be joining in with the chat as we go.
I won't.
Andy won't. I've got the chat in front of me. Andy
I do.
doesn't. You do as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just not going to interact.
we want to do it live and ignore you.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend like we're not live.
So I wanted to talk about Ally and Xbox, and then obviously all things Switch 2 as well. Joining the conversation in the chat, I want to know what you guys think. The biggest thing I want to take away from this, specifically with the Switch 2, is I'm trying really hard to understand what all the blowback is about.
Why the hate?
Yeah. So I want to know if you're going to be getting involved. Are you going to be buying it, or what your objections are to it? Did it look exciting to you or not? I did do a poll, but you know.
Did you get a pre-order? Did you not?
Did you get a pre-order?
I have.
Yeah.
Hey!
I also got a pre-order. Start with the chat. We've got Temperus, Ben, Doolittle, Crumbly Pork, Andrew, and Jack Shish all in here already. And Andrew says, I am a man of the people, which is absolutely right.
I like that. I'm not.
Flattery will get you everywhere. I will accept that. And Temperus has already gifted a membership to someone.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
that's really nice.
That's lovely.
That's very
it's a bit of gifting. So let's jump into the first story.
Yes.
And this is, of course, the big news coming out of ASUS and the ROG tease.
Hang on.
No.
That was April Fool's.
Oh, of course.
On the 31st of
March. Has Andy been painting his jumper?
I have, yes. Yeah. You know, I was doing some painting, decorating. I actually put up some wallpaper about a week ago, so that counts, right?
That does count, yeah. You're a man of the people as well.
Am I? Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, of course, the ASUS ROG Ally tease that happened on March the 31st was a very expensive and elaborate April Fool's.
Hoax.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, hoax.
Did you guys see it? Let us know. Did you see my news video about it? My excited reaction. It is, of course, more... I'm not going to say confirmation, but more steps towards what we all thought was going to be. That is, of course, the Ally Xbox.
Yeah, so we all, before this happened, I mean, I'm sure many of you have saw it before, our podcast, where we were talking about the idea of ASUS releasing a budget Ally, the tough Ally, the tough buddy, we called it.
Which is the best name ever.
It's the best name ever. And then shortly after that, we then started hearing about the Xbox collab, and we thought it's got to be with ASUS. And we went through why, did a podcast on that too. And then we kind of went, hang on, that's the tough buddy. Yeah. That is the tough Ally. And so we were like, it must be the budget version, right? And then they dropped the elaborate hoax.
The elaborate April Fool's hoax, which would have cost them upwards of like 30 grand to make.
Oh, yeah, easy. Yeah.
It definitely wasn't a hoax, people. This was a real thing. And just to confirm it, if you were unsure, the original Ally was announced on April the 1st, 2023. Yeah. So they're used to doing this. In it, we saw all sorts of really important bits of information. I think the first one was that it was the ASUS robot guy kind of drawing up his wish list of what he'd want to see in a new Ally.
Yep.
And then sending those wishes into the original Ally, the Z1 Extreme. And that's the really important bit. We saw the white Ally Z1.
We saw the Z1 Extreme paired with the Rikishi. I don't know. Yes, that was a wrestler in the 90s. I keep saying Rikishi.
WWE Rikishi.
WWF. But yeah.
Oh, it's back then.
Yeah. But no, I can't remember what it's called. I call it the Rikishi controller. Whatever it is, the ASUS Xbox controller for PC, the multiplat. They pair that specifically with the Z1 Extreme, not the Ally X.
Yes.
And I think that's a big deal there.
It's a huge deal, and it makes the relevance of everything that's in the specs and the wish list make more sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because firstly, ASUS said they're not going to be replacing the Ally X. This new device cannot, specs-wise, sit better than it, because otherwise it'd be a replacement to it. It'd supersede it. Mm. And budget-wise, because it's going to be the Xbox collaboration, it can't exceed the price point of the Ally X either.
Yeah. Xbox are going to want it to be a lower priced item to sell more units, clearly.
Yeah.
But we can safely assume that this is going to be a licensed by Xbox product, or it might not.
Yeah.
It could just be like the ASUS product. I mean, it will still have to say licensed by if they include the Xbox button, because they'll need the licensing for the logo.
Do you think it's going to be as overt as that, or do you think it will be an ASUS kind of Xbox, like a crossover,
an actual direct collaboration, name dropping? I don't know, because I've got a feeling it's just going to have an Xbox home button and then Xbox OS, but I don't expect it to be green. I don't expect it to have like.
I'm
Xbox
a bit disappointed
handles.
at that. I want it to be green.
Well, I hope it is. It might be. We don't know, but I'm going off what we saw from the animated trailer, which is just ROG central.
Yeah.
Dark black, purples, neons, teals, greens, whatever, like it was.
But caveat to that.
Yeah.
After he sends his spec wishes off and he knocks the desk.
Yes.
It's the original ROG that flies off and their Xbox controller.
Yeah.
So
But it's their Xbox controller. It's not an official Xbox controller.
Andy, let me dream.
But if you notice their Xbox controller, it doesn't even have an Xbox button because it's not Xbox licensed.
No, it doesn't. That's true. It does have the annoying screen share button, though.
Yeah.
Which I constantly press by accident.
So I think it's going to be a fully ROG product with potential for a license by Xbox thing going on there, with a big emphasis on Xbox OS. I almost said Steam, not that. But I would like to see an Xbox home button on there personally.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah. So there is going to be a collaboration there. It's just how far does it swing Xbox way?
I suppose the other part to that is how far does it swing? If it swings too far Xbox, it paints them into a corner of not being able to do an Xbox handheld.
Exactly.
Straight up one.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Because what's the point of the two differences? There was like 4 key points he wanted in the spec. Have you got it written down?
I do.
Oh, he's so organised. Even live, you're organised.
Oh, yes. We've got more capacity.
All right. So more capacity is... And we have to think about this in reference to the original
Ally, because that's what they chose. The Ally X doesn't exist at the minute. We're in the world of Z1E.
Yeah.
Right. So more capacity. The Z1E launched with 512 gigabytes.
Yes, you're looking at a 1 terabyte then.
Yeah, I would safely say
brings it in line with the Ally X.
Yeah.
More capacity. That's an easy one.
So that's one. What though is another thing, because I'm just going to throw a little tease in here. I fully expect that they might add some specs that might be slightly better than the Ally X. Just because it's a newer product, we're a year on now, there might be a couple of things that are actually slightly better, but as a whole, it's still worse.
Do you think faster drive?
Maybe it's got like a Gen 5 drive, so the speeds are faster on the drive, maybe. Potentially.
Well, and that would add more into the other things about when he talks about performance.
That's why
like load times and stuff.
Yeah, precisely. So the next point, so we've seen capacity. The next one is fresh look. So we can dive into that a bit. I mean, I kind of was talking about that a little bit earlier, but
I want the fresh look to be full Xbox.
I want that.
I would love green.
Yeah, I want a green Ally, like neon green.
Yeah,
I would
black
love
and
that.
green.
Yeah, I would genuinely love that. But I think when we were discussing it prior about having like horns on it, like controller horns, I don't see that happening. I mean, maybe, but
that'd be so cool.
But I don't think we'll see that, just because it will make the device 10 times the size by having unnecessary horns on it. Having a case for that thing, it will be bigger than a PlayStation Portal, and I think we're going to have better ergonomics than the original Ally, and maybe even the Ally X. But I don't expect it to have physical controller horns sticking out the side.
No, I don't think it will. And it looked too much like the Portal, and I don't particularly like the aesthetics of the Portal. I don't like the PlayStation Portal, the fact that it's
just a controller sawn in half with a screen on it.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me, mainly because of the portability, like you say. even if you don't have a dedicated case for the Ally currently, you can put it in a bag and sit there without it being kind of janky, easy to snap and stuff.
Yeah, but if we look specifically at the Z1E, because that's what they've chosen in the video, it's very flat, it's very thin, it's not very comfortable to hold. Yeah. That's why they've redesigned it for the Ally X. So maybe we get an even more ergonomic shell design that's just got a bit more girth in your hands, like a Steam Deck.
Everyone loves a bit more girth in their hands.
Yeah, you've got to have something chonky to hold on to. So there's your fresh new look. Then we've got marathon stamina. So big one.
Well, it was the big criticism of the original Z1 Ally, wasn't it? It had a
55 watt hour.
I always want to say it's less, 55.
Yeah.
The Ally X has an 80 watt hour.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll go up as high as that?
No, I don't.
Because the problem is if you go too close in specs, it removes the point of
what's the point of having it? Yeah, exactly. So I think we could see like a 60, 65 watt hour battery here. So a minor increment change, but I think the big thing will be the APU.
Yeah,
I think
the efficiency of it.
I think they're going to go for a more efficient APU, which is going to make that 60 watt hour probably become almost equivalent to the Ally X's 80 watt hour.
What's the kind of average playtime you get on a battery from the Ally X?
It depends on game settings and what game and stuff. But
most diplomatic answer you've ever given.
But it is though, isn't it? Because if you're playing like a 2D Mario emulated, you probably get like 20 hours.
You just gave a Nintendo answer to the specs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Between 2.5 and 6.5 hours gameplay.
So, well, let's say AAA gaming then. I think you can comfortably get 2 to 2.5 hours on an Ally X.
Yeah.
I would say if you're playing said game at the same like settings or whatever on this hypothetical Xbox Ally with a 60 watt hour battery and a more efficient chip, let's just say like the Z2 baseline, you probably get the equivalent.
Yeah.
I would say.
That seems reasonable.
The
performance thing then, that was the final one, wasn't
it? The final one was faster speeds, which kind of ties into the APU as well.
It's not going to be memory based, is it? It's not going to be about the RAM.
Oh, it might be. It very well might be. I don't think it will go up as high as the Ally X with the 24 gig.
There was a RAM bump between the Z1 and the Ally X, wasn't there?
Yeah. So the
16 to 24, wasn't it?
Yeah, 16 to 24 and way faster speed. So I think the Z1E, quote me if don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I think quote me if I'm wrong.
Ignore me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that was around 6,000 mega transfers a second, and the Ally X is 7,500 mega transfers, I think. Again, I might be wrong, but off memory.
Conceivably stay at 16, but have faster.
Yeah. So you could have 16 gig.
It's a tightrope they're having to walk, isn't it? Between not making the Ally X irrelevant, and keeping this affordable.
Exactly. That's why I think we alluded to earlier the tough buddy that we talked about prior, and that we think Xbox is going to be that tough buddy here. They're gonna have to make sacrifices to make this the budget offering. Yeah. Otherwise, like you said, it's just encroaching on the Ally X too much.
Yeah.
And then what's the point of the product?
So then it kind of leaves the door open to what's the processor. It would seem. I mean, it's plausible that it's still the Z1 Extreme.
It could be, yeah.
Because price-wise now, putting that in a machine, as we've seen with the original Allies, you're seeing them down at like the 400s now.
Yeah, and they've probably got a crap load of them like in a warehouse somewhere.
So I'd love to know what chat thinks. Like, if you launched a Ally Xbox now with a Z1 Extreme, but it's sat at like the £400, £500 price point, does that represent value now? It's very easy for them to do it because they're clearly doing it already.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Z1E already, it launched at 600, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it's currently on sale for about 400 on sale.
Yeah.
So I think they could present value there. But again, I just feel like it'd be too close to the Ally X. Whereas if they took something like the Z2, not the Z2 Go for Lenovo, because that's a specific one for them, but the Z2 is still outperformed by the Z1E. But it's going to probably be a bit more efficient with worse performance. So to me, it just makes sense that they would use
it's a bit more future-proofed as well.
It's a little bit more future-proof. It's a newer product, and it's not then in line with the Ally X.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could conceivably see them sticking with the Z1E just for the cost.
I think so. Yeah, I mean. I'm on the fence here because we said prior.
Would you recommend someone getting one if it still had the Z1E?
Yeah, Z1E is great. For this year.
But, I mean,
for future proofing, I'd still get a Z1E over a Z2.
Yeah, I think
because it's a better performing, like top end. When you push the power through it, it performs better.
Yeah.
But I mean, I keep saying to everybody, hold off until next year for Z3 chips, because that's when we'll hopefully get hardware encoding, machine learning, and then performance and efficiency.
The next generation of RDNA.
Yeah. So hopefully that would be like the next gen.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think the really exciting thing is, regardless of what the specs are, we know it's going to, I would imagine, sit similar specs to the Z1 version. If the Ally X is still going to be there, if they're going to sit alongside each other, and this is still the budget offering.
I can see them discontinuing the Z1E
100%,
white,
and
this replacing.
But then
it'll
be 2 years old.
Yeah.
For an ASUS product, that's more than big for them.
I think it's going to be real close in line to that Z1E original Ally.
Yeah.
They're going to discontinue that. All the parts and all the bits that they've got left over from that, and all the refurbs and whatever else, they're going to just throw that in the blender.
This is a mongrel. Stick an Xbox sticker on it. Just a sticker.
Just a sticker. No, they just draw it on with Sharpie.
Over the armory crate
It's white, isn't it? So they can just draw straight on with a green Sharpie. Done.
Someone there with a scalpel just scratching X into it.
Yeah.
Dan in chat says, Z1 Extreme is fine for me as long as it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be more powerful than the Ally XO, otherwise it will cannibalize it, so it can't be more powerful.
No, it can't.
Totally agree. It can't be more.
It can't be more.
And I think every indication is that this as a product lineup is going to sit alongside the Ally X.
Yeah.
Just as the new budget offering.
It's going to sit alongside, I fully believe that.
And really, more than anything else, this handheld console is a testing ground. So you're kind of a guinea pig if you get into this.
Yeah.
It's a testing ground for Windows
OS,
Xbox OS, as we call it.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
It is exciting. That's going to be the forefront driver of it. I think whether or not they tie Xbox OS to this device for the next 6 months to iron out all the creases before they roll it out to anybody with a Windows handheld or PC could possibly be a thing. So that they're locking it into the device for a period of time, kind of like SteamOS has. You're only having SteamOS if you've got Steam Deck, but very soon now, 3 years after it launched, we're then going to see a global release on any device.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The last thing on the hardware before I sort of talk a bit more on the Xbox OS was we did see at the end of the trailer the nice LCD light bleed. But we also saw that it looks to be a 16:10 aspect ratio.
16:10 screen and
much bigger as well. It looks like an 8-inch 16:10.
Yeah. Max Freak, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. I'm going to get to the Switch 2 stuff in a minute, so I'm going to address that in a minute if that's all right. But you're a legend.
Thank you.
16:10. I've said so much that I don't like 16:10, and they're doing it. You are like the opposite end of that. You really love 16:10.
It's great. It's a great gaming aspect ratio on a handheld.
I love to not chat things like this. I always feel like when I'm looking at 16:10, it feels like I'm a little bit on a 4:3 monitor.
Yeah, I get you.
It's a bit like square.
I think the only thing that made it a little bit weird for me when I moved from a Steam Deck OLED to the Ally was the change of 16:10 down to 16:9. Because it's such a shorter, like it makes the whole screen feel a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Even though it's as wide, you're losing, like, it's like putting on a film and getting the black bars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a little bit weird, even though I like 16:9 and it helps the device be smaller.
It's actually the opposite way around. It was kind of weird to readjust.
Whereas, like, if you got a 16:10 screen, you're like, wow, that's a lot of space.
More real estate.
In effectively the same amount of space.
Yeah.
Just because you're increasing the tops and the bottoms.
I guess as well, the versatility for not just for developers to give you more POV, but also for those of you, and I know there's numerous, especially in our little ecosystem, that love emulating.
Yeah, it's a win for emulators.
Yeah, because you can do 4:3 and it makes more sense.
16:10 is like a win for all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Modern titles, most of them, to be fair, are just 16:9, like, you know. And honestly, if you're stretching up to a 16:10, you are going to need more power to power that because there's more pixels on the screen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so you might get a bit of a performance hit there. Then it's just a trade-off of, would you prefer like this 16:10 8-inch, or would you prefer a 16:9 8-inch, which would then help the device be smaller and wider? Do you know what I mean?
The big thing that's going to really upset people, and this is a lovely crossover to the Switch 2 stuff, which we'll touch on later, is it's almost certainly not OLED. as shown by the trailer. And that awful bleed.
Even though that's just simulated, but you know, it is a point. It is a point. It won't be OLED. There is no way it's going to be OLED.
As we've talked about ad nauseum here, it feels like we're one of the few people that actually do address it, though. There's very good reasons why these high-end devices aren't touching into OLED.
Yeah.
And it's all VRR.
Yeah, all VRR flicker. Yeah. Because unless you've got an extremely powerful graphics card or computer, a pairing of both, an APU, whatever you want to call it, if you've got serious power behind it that can maintain stable high frame rates with high 1% lows, VRR flicker on an OLED is not a problem. But we're talking about handhelds here running on tiny little APUs that can't give enough power to have stable enough frame rates.
Yeah.
So you will see VRR flicker.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see when that Lenovo comes out.
That's going to be the really big change here, isn't it?
But that will be next year, I guarantee.
Yeah, is it the Go 2?
The Go 2 prototype that they showed, where they didn't give any date or anything like that.
They're reportedly going to have the Z2 Extreme in it. And that's the first device that's been prototyped with it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to have VRR monitor with an OLED.
Yes.
I'm just curious to see if they fixed that problem or if they're just hoping it's going to power through it.
It won't be a problem if you're playing old games.
Yes.
Or if you're playing 2D games.
Yeah.
Or just any low-powered game. If you're trying to run a AAA game and you're maxing the settings out, you're going to get flickering. Yeah. You know, it's just the nature of it. It's just the fact.
Or maybe they've found a way to...
Maybe. I will tell you, on my OLED screen, my monitor, I've recently got an OLED monitor.
Of course you have.
Which has VRR. FreeSync Premium. There's actually a setting in the screen to counteract OLED VRR flickering. However, when you enable it, it can cause stuttering. So it could screw your frame times up. Yeah, because it messes with the display in some way.
Right now, the compromise of keeping costs down and having the best performance possible is that you can't have OLED.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the compromise we're all at now.
Just the tech's not there yet.
We were spoiled a little bit ago when the Steam Deck OLED came out and the Switch OLED came out. Yeah. Because they are gorgeous.
Beautiful.
We were spoiled by them. But unfortunately, when you're looking at modern titles that are really pushing the limits of APUs, you can't use VRR, which means you're going to get awful performance issues.
You need VRR to make these things acceptably playable.
Yeah.
Because otherwise people like me that are highly sensitive to it will just not do it.
Yeah, totally.
I'll just be like, nah.
Yeah, I'm done. Cheers.
Sorry.
I want to look at some of the chat.
Yes.
There's a few people that say 16:10 is absolutely fine. Dan Squiggles.
Yes.
Max Freak says 16:10 is fine, but it's a pain when games don't support it and can't use it properly. Is that what you're saying? Great. According to producer Pete, Squiggles says, we demand more Pete in the podcast. No wonder Pete pointed that one out.
That was funny, that.
Yes, thanks for that, producer Pete. Yes. Dan says, I'd rather have OLED, but ultimately want to play games. If the price is right, I really don't care. And do you know what? I absolutely love that take because it's so absolutely right. There's things you'd love to see, but there's also things that it gets too expensive. Yeah. And ultimately, as long as the whole package as a whole, the compromises are enough to make the games good and the experience nice, ultimately doesn't matter.
No.
I think we'll see when we get hands-on with the Switch 2 next week, we'll see the reports are that it's mini LED, it's HDR as well. I think everyone's going to be very surprised at how nice that panel's going to look.
It's just like OLED. So once you remember when OLED came out?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, nah, what a load of rubbish. Give me an IPS screen, give me LCD all day long. And everyone that had experienced an OLED was like, nah, bruh. You know, like you don't understand, man. And now it seems to be the other way around. Everyone's like, no, OLED only. Yeah. It's like, okay, remember that feeling of when you first experienced OLED and you go, wow, right? If you saw what hopefully, I might be wrong, but the Switch 2, for example, HDR with the G-Sync VRR display, 1080p, 120 hertz, and that HDR, I know I just said that twice, but HDR.
Say HDR again.
HDR.
Go on, say HDR again. How many times can you say HDR?
A lot. But seriously, that, if it is a mini LED, that experience is going to be phenomenal. Mini LED peak brightness is far above OLED.
True. It's just the blacks that you're going to miss, isn't it?
But on a good mini LED panel, because they have zones, like, I can't remember, dimming zones.
Local dimming zones.
Local dimming zones, that's correct, yeah. Nice one. If they do it right, if there's enough local dimming zones per inch or whatever, then you won't even notice the difference.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you will not. But because everyone keeps saying it's LCD or not OLED, you're automatically assuming Steam Deck LCD disgusting screen, Switch 1 LCD disgusting screen. You're just thinking of any cheap LCD panel which looks like ass.
But to be fair, that's the reference point. If that's the reference point you have, I get it.
But there is other options, isn't there? Like,
totally
until
is.
you experience it yourself, I think it's hard to say. And we will.
I want to give a massive shout out to Shallow in the chat, who's watching this on his ROG Ally X.
I love that.
Hell yeah.
That is epic. Well done. Like, that's really good.
All right, so on to the guinea pig part of the ASUS, I'm going to call it the Ally Xbox.
Yes.
It's coming.
Yeah.
The guinea pig part of that is that you are certainly going to be a guinea pig for Xbox OS, Windows gaming.
Yeah.
It's exciting, and it's also terrifying. It could be the best thing since Steam OS, or it could be another awful version of Windows. Because we're dealing with Microsoft, they've got both in their arsenal.
It's both.
Yes, it is both.
It's going to be both. And obviously it's going to be a little bit rocky out the gate, I think.
Yeah.
But just like SteamOS wasn't perfect out the gate.
Do you think their support for it is going to be as good as Valve's has been for SteamOS?
There should be, yeah.
I'd hope it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
you got Windows behind this and Xbox. You know, they're like collaborating to make sure that this is the thing.
Yeah.
So I think Xbox are very much, they want to dominate everything, don't they now? They've gone, you know what, console's not just for us. We want to be on every screen. They want to hit 10 billion screens or whatever they said.
Yeah, opening a billion doors.
Yeah, that's it. So to me, this is a forefront of their future point in gaming. Do you know what I mean? They know Windows sucks. Like, they know that these handhelds are not going away.
Yeah.
And they're embracing it. They're not turning around like Sony would.
Well, it's the central, as Phil Spencer said a couple of weeks ago, it's the central focus for the Windows team currently.
Exactly. There you go.
It's like, okay, that's huge.
And if
Windows
anything,
teams,
if this comes out in the next 6 months, I'd be surprised, because I was expecting like Q4 of this year that we'd even see the entry point, the infancy of Xbox OS.
Yeah.
But if they're already teasing this now via the ASUS thing, we're right to assume that within the next 3 months that they're going to announce it.
Yeah. And for those of you, and as I know a lot of our members, viewers and subscribers are in ASUS land currently, don't worry that you're not going to be left out, because what we're pretty sure this is what Valve did with the Steam Deck and Steam OS. This ASUS collaboration will be the testing ground for the new Xbox OS. And once it's refined enough, it will be rolled out to any handheld device.
It's not going to be locked to this device only.
So if you've got an Ally X now, you'll get it eventually if you want it.
It'll be a free upgrade.
Yeah.
It's not going to be paid.
Because it's Windows.
Yeah.
If you've got a Lenovo, any of those,
yes,
as long as your specs meet the minimum performance requirement for the operating system, which I imagine will be very
all
low.
Of them. Yeah, it'll be all of them.
Because they're going to strip everything out.
Yeah. It's going to be just I think a lot of stuff's going to be optional. Like,
can we do a little bingo card prediction?
Does it have OneDrive?
Yeah, is it going to keep OneDrive?
Better not. That needs to burn in hell. Like, in general, I hate OneDrive.
I hope it keeps OneDrive.
No, I don't.
That would be amazing.
So I recently did a new PC build.
Yeah.
You know, installed Windows. OneDrive's on there, isn't it? I uninstalled it.
Yeah.
It came back. I didn't install it.
I had to set up a new PC to do this stream with.
Yeah. You sent me the photo of it, and it was just OneDrive. I was like, no!
That's all I said to Andy was I'd set this PC up. I'd totally formatted it, so I didn't even have a user account on there. So go back in, set it up, and all I sent to Andy was just a screenshot of do you want to set up OneDrive? And I was like, guess what's happening here? Like, you're setting up a new PC. No,
I hate OneDrive.
I reckon they'll keep it there.
They better not.
They'll take a bulldozer to it. There's going to be some stupid stuff still in it.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing with it is, as Phil Spencer said, what it's going to be is exactly how SteamOS is on top of Linux.
Yeah.
You'll be able to window out and go back into Windows. Anything important or personal that you want to do, you'll still be able to do in the back end of Windows.
Yeah, it's going to be exactly like Windows.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a skin over the top. Yeah. So it's going to be wicked. And you'll be able to install this on your desktops as well. You know,
I wonder what the install rate on desktops will be.
A lot, I reckon.
Because it's not a handheld operating system they're making, it's a gaming operating system, isn't it?
It's going to have a focus on handheld. I mean, look at Xbox Game Bar right now. There's compact mode.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing. Like, Well, to be fair, it won't even need it, because if you think of like the Xbox operating system, like the actual Xbox operating system right now, imagine that just on your Ally screen, and it's just tiles, and you could touch on it, or you can, use the mouse and stuff.
For those of you that watch the random news videos I do, and I know there's kind of a screamingly few of you. For those of you that do watch it, you would have seen I did a piece in one of them recently where I was reacting to everyone saying that Steam's coming to Xbox. And I was like, no, what they're showing you is a preview of Xbox OS.
Yeah.
And that's why Steam is there.
Yeah.
If you want an idea of what it's going to look like, it's that.
Yes.
That's what we're going to see.
Yeah.
It's a bit like how Armory Crate looks on the Ally X.
Armory Crate's great.
Crumbly Pork, beautiful member who we love dearly, has a question.
Oh, no.
Says, if I have an ASUS eGPU, I think he means the XG Mobile.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the Ally Xbox will be compatible with it? I guess you could open that question a little bit wider and go, with eGPUs in general. I go, as long as it's got a connection.
Yeah.
As long as the connection's fast enough.
Yeah. So the operating system is literally just a skin. Yeah. That's not going to change anything as to how an eGPU will work. Like, it's just what you're seeing on the screen. It just means your games are going to perform better. Like that's all it is. So yeah, all eGPUs will absolutely be fine running with it.
A stripped back Windows for Ally X would be great, but what I'd really like is a quick resume like Xbox.
Yes.
Quick resume is such a beautiful feature that no one talks about.
It's such highly demanded feature because Xbox has it on console.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox actually does it the best with really the way that they handle games.
Yes.
Where it's got I think they even call it quick resume.
It's called quick resume. Yeah.
You open up Xbox and you can have 5, 6, 7 games there. You click on it and it's immediately loaded you in
to exactly the state you were in.
Yeah, you don't have to launch the executable file. It's just in there. It's fantastic. But quick resume in terms of pressing the button on and off, that is a highly demanded feature, and I fully expect Xbox are going to make sure that is a thing, because that is one of the things that makes SteamOS and the Steam Deck way better than any Windows handheld, is just the fact that you can press the button, go away, come back a few hours later, press it, and it works. With Windows, if you're using hibernation, then it works okay, but even then it's kind of buggy, and most of the time you're best off just restarting the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick resume, I'm totally all with you guys. Like, I want that.
I'd love quick resume. Andrew Pace says, can you imagine if we could make the Switch 2 compatible with eGPUs?
Kind of doesn't need it.
Well,
we're going
to get to Switch 2 in a second. I think like the dock itself is doing a pretty good job of overclocking that beast to 4K 60.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Man.
OneDrive right in your game library.
No.
Yeah. So the tiles, one of the tiles in the Xbox
it's like
OS,
a virus. It just spreads everywhere.
OneDrive is like a malware.
Instead of an Xbox button, they're going to have a OneDrive button. That's the collaboration with Microsoft. Oh.
It's Windows Central Focus.
The Ally
to put OneDrive on all your devices.
That's it. The Ally One.
What price point do you reckon we'll see this at?
500 to 550.
Love to know what chat thinks about that. If you would buy it, if you don't already have one, or if you're looking to upgrade your Steam Deck or whatever. 550 is an interesting price, especially now we know what Switch 2 is doing.
I think they're going to, because this is an Xbox collab with ASUS, they are so aggressively going to target Steam Deck.
Yes.
That they need to hit that price point where if someone was buying a Steam Deck, then it makes them question this. If this is higher than that, then it's not an easy decision,
I would argue that I would say that there's an argument for them to price it at lower than the Steam Deck OLED. Steam Deck OLED currently, the 512 version is 480.
It's 480 for an OLED, yeah.
If this sat at the same or slightly less, 450. Just bear in mind, I know you're grimacing, but bear in mind what the Z1 Ally sells for now. New.
It's meant to be 600.
It's meant to be. But
it's
ASUS
400.
are constantly selling it for.
But they made that 3 years ago. They've made the money back and made a new one. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're saying more, we've just determined, right, that this is going to have a 1 terabyte drive instead of a 512. We've said it's likely going to have potentially faster RAM.
Yeah.
We've said it's going to have a newer chip, a redesigned house, a 16 by 10 potential mini LED screen, and it's going to be cheaper than a Steam Deck. AJ's smoking something that
Hey, wait, you're just going off your list of demands.
That's the list we've just made ourselves on this live.
I take no ownership over your specs. I want this at 200 or it's overpriced.
Okay. Fine.
There's a few people going in on the price. I personally think it should be closer to the Xbox in price. Align it with the Switch. That's what Dan says. Steve Man 92 is just a beautiful person. Says you guys rock. I had to read that out because it's an ego stroke. If they hit 550, I'd be pleasantly surprised. Ed says, and Dan says 399 would be great. But that's really not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So ASUS we're talking about again here. You pay ASUS tax.
Yeah, there's an ASUS
everything.
tax. Yeah.
You do.
And it's an ROG product.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
you're talking, we're not on the tough or prime range here. If they were releasing a prime, ASUS prime handheld, I can imagine that being sub 400.
Dan makes the point that the ROG Ally is 399 currently.
Yeah, currently, yeah. But I mean, the launch title price was 600 and it's still going for 600 at some places.
Yeah,
now.
the RRP 600.
It's just that, it goes down to 399.
If we're thinking about equivalence performance-wise, we're looking at the Lenovo Legion Go S.
Yes.
Which is 650, 700.
Yeah.
Something like that,
it depends on the chip, the APU, because they do the Z2 Go and then the Z1 Extreme for the SteamOS models, and they go from like 600 to 700. Like the price is well high on those. They're too high, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd love to see it sub 500 because then it really shakes things up, especially for Steam Deck. But also, I've got to be realistic. Yeah. We've just seen the Switch 2 drop at 395.
Yeah.
And we know where the market's at. Steam Deck's 480.
Yeah.
So we know where the market's at. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Should we move it along?
Oh wait, do we have to roll our sleeves up? Are we getting the?
This is to the
fight off
the giant Japanese elephant in the room. Get your points in about the Switch 2 now because.
Right, I'm going to anticipate. Drop the price.
Yes.
What else? What else are people going to say?
Drop the price.
Drop the price. Drop the price.
Digital games.
Digital games too expensive.
Not enough launch titles.
Not enough hentai. Oh, sorry. Not launched at least.
I'm going to start this off with Max Freak's super chat from earlier because I want to acknowledge the super chat. It was very nice of you.
He's a super freak.
Sending love from FL. I think that's Florida, I guess.
Yeah.
The other side of the pond. Thanks for all the fun content. My 2 cents. I think the Switch 2 is priced okay, but the real stinger is seeing Switch 1 games at $80.
Yeah.
And, that's an absolutely fair take. It does sting to see the prices of games creeping up.
Yes.
Undeniably, $80 is a creep up. In the UK, it works out £75.
75 maximum, yeah.
For Mario Kart World Physical.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, that includes the sales tax. For you, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It is a stinger. We have to kind of... I just want everyone to take like a chill approach to this conversation and let's not get like too... Because I was just seeing a lot of animated responses to the news videos and stuff.
Anger.
I want to know your thoughts on the price of games at the moment. And 75, we're going to go on in pounds. £75 is the most for the physical games. They're keeping their variable pricing that they introduced last generation.
Yeah.
We saw with Tears of the Kingdom, wasn't it?
Tears of the Kingdom was 70. And then stuff was just all below that, basically. Yeah. Like that was the top end because you think how big like Tears of the Kingdom is, and that's the first party IP. Big development costs, big budget pushing, like in terms of publicity. Yeah. It'll be on the side of billboards and stuff. Like they're spending a lot of money to put this in front of people, so I guess they want that money back. And the same with like say Mario Kart. But then other titles will be less. Yes. We've already seen straight away with Donkey Kong
was £10 less.
Yeah,
65.
65 was it? Is it not 60?
Oh, it might have been 60 actually.
Yeah, I feel like it was 60. I might be wrong, but
I enjoy the fact that they've separated the pricing for physical and digital finally. Whether you're camp physical, camp digital, I don't mind. But it's been a bugbear for, I'm sure for you guys as well, for us for certain.
This is a whole new story in itself.
Yeah, it's been an absolute bugbear for ages. That digital games were the same price as physical, and quite often you could find physical games cheaper. It made no sense.
No sense whatsoever. Like none. Like they're holding the digital version on a freaking server. It don't run out. Like it's just there, and they're giving you a license to download it.
Yeah.
With the physical one, they've got thousands of people are involved.
Yeah,
They've got to send this data to get pressed onto like a chip or disc or whatever you want it to be on. Then they've got to make the casing of it. They've got to print the artwork.
Yeah.
They've got to make the artwork. They've got to make the case. Do you know what I mean? Then they've got to transport it around the globe in all the different regions. Then they've got to send it to each manufacturer or whatever, you know, and then that's got to go to a bricks and mortar shop and store.
And the store's got to make money.
Store's got to make money. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You've got to drive there to go get it.
Yeah.
Why is that cheaper?
I don't know.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I've never understood, and no one's ever cared. Like, and now for once, Nintendo are like, you can have it cheaper if you just download it. Like, oh, thank you.
Yes,
Like,
at last. Mario Kart World, I will say while we're there, talking about that game, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I do love Mario Kart. I think everyone, even if you don't want to admit it publicly, everyone loves Mario Kart,
Yeah,
really.
it's like Mario MMO.
And they've made it like an MMO. You can go hang out, open world,
just drive around.
It's cool. It's cool as. Stick on the pricing of the games because that's where we've started.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
Touch on the fact that if you buy the bundle, it's 50% off.
Very good point. So the Switch 2 base price is $395. If you buy the Mario Kart bundle, it's $340.
$430.
$430.
Yeah, it makes it £100 cheaper.
You actually get £100 off.
They give you money. Just take it. Go on.
Mario comes down.
Yeah. It's a me.
100 quid, cheers, mate. So it's $430. So the game is half price if you do that.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to pre-order it, just get the Mario version because
Yes.
you're saving 35 quid.
Yes.
It's incredible value.
Absolutely.
We saw Switch games at 70. Not all of them. The top end ones were 70. We did see a kind of average of 50 to 60.
Yeah.
It's kind of fair. $49.99 a lot at the start.
Yeah, I can't really remember most of the main titles being 50. I think they were around the 60.
I think what helps with the game pricing point is to get some reference point.
Yeah.
Firstly, the Switch 2 is now, with its performance, is now sitting squarely in line with Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like toe to toe.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, the PlayStation 5, especially the Pro, is going to perform a lot better because it's got a whopping great power supply. Potentially. But it's a very similar now. They're very close.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got the handheld element, which we'll get to. So games are going to perform in a very similar fashion.
Yeah.
You're going to have very similar games, and in a lot of cases, the same games.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems reasonable that the price points are going to be the same.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people are getting objection to is they're used to Nintendo
Being
feeling
cheaper. They think it's like a toy and want it cheaper. But ultimately, if you buy Cyberpunk on PlayStation, it's going to cost you $70.
Yes.
If you buy it on Nintendo Switch 2, it's going to cost you $70.
Yeah.
But it comes with all the DLC. It's like everything included.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do an Ultimate Edition on PlayStation or Xbox.
No, you have to get the DLC separately. Phantom Liberty separate, isn't it? Yeah, so the Ultimate Edition's all in, and it's all on the cart as well. They've compressed it.
64 gig cart.
Pretty amazing. So pricing, it sits literally £5 higher than a PS5 game currently. I think they've just shot the starting pistol on PlayStation and Xbox games getting more expensive. It was going to happen anyway.
We all knew that GTA 6 is going to be...
I don't want to be too it's okay that it's expensive because it does sting. The Super Chat was absolutely right. It stings seeing games creeping up.
Yeah.
There's a big reference point I want to talk about, and we've both got a really key memory. For me, I'm going to go on a Mario Kart simile. Mario Kart 64 that launched on the N64 in 1996, so 29 years ago, was £60 at launch.
Yeah.
Okay, £60.
30 years ago. Yeah.
30 years ago. I did the, what is £60 for 30 years ago. The equivalent would be 118 quid today.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking
massive
about.
difference. Yeah.
And now
like
we're saying that
more.
Mario Kart physical on the Switch 2 is £75.
Yeah.
So in a 30-year thing, it's not actually a 30-year gap. It's not actually a huge inflation at all. It's not in line with everything else.
And I don't really think we're going to see this as commonplace. This is going to be the heavy hitters. This is going to be Mario 3D.
Yeah, and if there's a new Zelda. Yeah.
And I don't even know if there'll be anything else that will hit those prices.
No.
Honestly. Everything else will come underneath that.
We'll be at the Donkey Kong price.
But that will be third-party companies that release big AAA titles that will hit that price, like your Cyberpunk, like Elden Ring, like Star Wars Outlaws. All of those will be full price, 70 quid.
70 quid.
Absolutely, there will be. But all the other like normal, what you would like associate with Nintendo games, they're going to be much lower.
Yeah.
I fully expect that.
I think I'm reading through the chat, and there's just a general feeling of like, it's okay. It just stings that everything's gone up in price, really, and it is very much like that.
What I find funny, I know we're talking about price here with games, but I understand the backlash of the price of games. But why is everyone hating on the price of the console?
I have no idea about that.
It's less than a third more expensive than a Switch OLED.
Yeah.
For 10 times the performance.
Yeah.
10x.
10x. Well, that's NVIDIA's numbers.
That's NVIDIA saying about the APU inside it. So why is everyone saying 395? It's not even hit the 400 mark where we originally anticipated.
I thought it was going to be 400,
Yeah. So it's 395. The Switch OLED was 320. Granted, it's not now because it's old. You know, like it's discounted to like 250 and stuff.
Yeah.
But 320 was the launch of the OLED. Some places are still selling it at 300. So it's like £70 more, less actually, than the Switch OLED. But everyone's got a problem with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know if it's everyone. I just think there's a vocal few that are very loud.
But the drop the price thing happened before anyone knew the price of the games.
Oh.
So it must have been directed at the console, surely.
I'd love to know what chat thinks about the price of the console. To me, the console seems like
I think it's a
surprisingly
bargain.
Cheap. It's surprisingly cheap.
Because they didn't announce it in the direct, when I was watching that direct and I was just like really excited, I was like, this is amazing. And I noticed throughout they haven't said the price. And then at the end I said to you, they haven't said the price.
Yeah.
And we were like, uh-oh. And like that's not good. And I was thinking that's 500 right there. 500. And then I started seeing all the crazy like US pricing. I don't know how that changes with the whole like new tax thing.
Miss President has
changed.
Yeah.
But then when I saw the UK price at 395, I was like, that's totally what I expected.
Yeah.
I was expecting another 100 on top of that. So I didn't understand what the like backlash from the price was. I still don't understand actually.
The console price is a one-off, and the hardware looks decent. I agree with you there, Ivan. And he does also make a point. It's a different market today, so it's hard to compare to game prices 30 years ago. Yeah, I know. I'm being kind of churlish with that. I'm just trying to make like an example.
Yeah, it's just a reference.
It stings when games get more expensive, and it happens every generation. And I think what Nintendo have done with the Switch 2, I said this in another video, I think they've shot the starting pistol on the next gen.
Yeah,
with this
being 75.
Yeah, with the prices and also the performance. They will lag behind the ultimate bleeding edge performance when Xbox and PlayStation upgrade to their next gen.
When their next gen come, Nintendo will be back in third place.
Think I would say that this is the start of the next gen.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And in 2 years' time, we'll see Xbox and PlayStation land whenever it is their new ones.
Yes.
And they'll outperform it again.
Yeah.
But I think Nintendo have just made a massive leap forward. And as a consequence, the prices have bumped up. And we'll see that happen. Someone mentioned GTA 6 in chat as well.
Yeah, that's going to be $100. I'll tell you now.
Yeah, it's Temperatures. There's rumours GTA 6 will be upwards of $100, so hopefully this isn't going to set the precedent.
No, this didn't do anything towards Rockstar. Rockstar were always going to put this at 100 quid.
Yeah.
You think they've been working on this since time began, right? The last GTA was about 400 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and they've made all the money in the world ever. So they're like, this was always going to be 100 quid. Like when PlayStation set the £70 game, didn't they?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And everyone went a bit nuts for that for about a week, and then no one cared.
Yeah.
And now, since then, that's when we thought Rockstar, GTA 6, that's going to be 100 because they're going to push it.
They're going to push it.
They're going to push it real hard,
and it will sell.
And it will sell all day long.
I wonder if there'll be as much pushback about that as there is about this.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is no, because people have waited so long. They'll go, well, if I'm only paying $100 every 15 years, do you know what I mean? It's like, and ultimately it comes down to, like, you kind of need to be more selective with what games you're buying. And that's why we're really big fans of Game Pass, because you don't need to care. Like, if the game sucks, uninstall it. You didn't buy it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas when you're paying 70 quid, I mean, I sold my PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I will buy PlayStation games on PC, when I know it's something I'm going to sink time in, like Rebirth. Yeah. I've sank like well over 50 hours into that, which is a lot for me because of my like ADHD-ness. But,
Andy doesn't complete, if you're new, Andy doesn't complete games.
But like, 50 hours into that makes the price well worth it for me. Yeah. So if I think, would I pay £100 for Rockstar's bloody GTA 6? I would, because I would go, you know what, I'm going to play that loads. But if it was some random obscure game and it was £100, be like, nah.
That's kind of what Nintendo are doing here, then.
And that's what I mean. They know Mario Kart World is going to have thousands of hours sunk in by everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what you were alluding to earlier, saying, I bet your most played game is, Mario Kart.
Yeah, if you had game hours played as a thing on your Switch account, but if everyone looked, Mario Kart would be one of the most played games for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can see why it's happening. It just means that I'm going to buy less games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to be more selective.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. And I think that was my takeaway. It's like, yeah, that stings. But I'm like that anyway with PlayStation games and Xbox games when I see them. If they're £70, it makes me think twice.
Oh, totally.
So 75 is going to be the same.
That's like over half a year's of Game Pass.
Exactly. So it's going to make me think twice. Am I really going to play that a lot? Or am I just going to wait for it to be reduced? Which we will probably see some. Although Nintendo historically are very good at reducing their games.
Physicals,
if you go to retailers, you will see them reduced. There was some really big stingers that some people are unhappy with I want to address before we get into some of the exciting bits. Mm-hmm. One of them was the Switch 2 editions. No, first one is the funny one, which I fully agree with. And there's that baked-in controller demo thing that you have to buy.
What is that?
Why are they charging for it?
What is that? Well, apparently it's going to be like $7, £5. And I mean, when look at it, this is for grandparents. Like, you think of the Nintendo Wii, and surely if you were even around that era, then everyone's grandparents had a Nintendo Wii because they all like playing bowling and
brain
tennis, brain training and stuff, which was wicked.
Yeah.
So that's going to be this era that like Nintendo are thinking, okay, if someone that's not technically minded buys this with no clue, let's sell them I mean, it should be free.
It should be free. I can't
sell them a freaking manual.
I'll just say it should be tree.
It should be tree.
I've definitely been smoking something. It should be free because Astro's Playroom was free.
But to me, that wasn't a controller demo. That didn't say press the left joystick forward.
But that was free, and that was like a mini game.
It was a game.
So good.
So good. I love that.
In fact, I would go as far as say it's the best thing ever released on PS5.
Yeah, it's great. I really wish that they released the full game on PC so I can
play. Astrobot.
Yeah.
PlayStation could do it with that, and it was a hell of a good, well-made game.
Oh, it
was just a controller demo. Nintendo could do it with this.
Imagine. Can we just put a pause here and go like hypothetical here? Imagine if if Sony put Astrobot on Switch 2. It would be able to run it now.
It would definitely be able to run it.
It would sell like hotcakes.
And it's not crazy because it is the perfect advert for PlayStation.
Well, Sony just put 2 PlayStation games on the original Switch.
Wow, kind of.
Yeah, they did. Patapon's on there now.
Patapon's
and Everybody's Golf.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I think, Astrobot is like the perfect PlayStation demo because it's just like a nostalgia trip.
You mean the perfect Nintendo game?
Yeah, and it is the perfect Nintendo.
So it's just Mario. I bet you if you hacked it, it took the skin off Astrobot, it's just Mario.
Are they releasing it on PC?
No, I don't know.
Oh, because it's going to get hacked so bad.
Yes. Yeah, modded. Mario in there.
Yeah. I'd pay for that. I'd pay for that mod.
I would buy it straight away. Yeah.
So, the controller demo thing shouldn't be paid for. It should be free. 100% agree with everyone.
That's rubbish.
It's ridiculous.
It looks rubbish as well.
I just want to say thank you to Temperance for gifting another membership to Squiggles 420. Oh, Squiggles 420.
Yeah, we know who Mr. Squiggles is.
Yeah. The other one that's really like hurting people is the Switch 2 upgrades, the paid upgrades to games.
Yes.
And I can understand the frustration on face value. I just think it's not been communicated properly.
No.
They've done a rubbish job of messaging it. I think a lot of it is not everyone watched all of the Direct.
Yes.
And a lot of people got their information from like news outlets and headlines on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's not communicated properly what's actually going on here. The majority of Nintendo Switch games are backwards compatible.
Yeah, so this is the number one thing.
Number one.
People think they have to pay to play their old games.
No.
No, you don't. You put the cartridge in and it plays it.
Yes.
Like, you're not having to pay to just let it play.
Yeah.
Like, so you can play it in the original state.
And the majority, they've got a whole list of games they're working on that've got some issues, but the majority of games work, especially, I imagine all of Nintendo's first party stuff will have.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of games that get free Switch 2 upgrades.
Just like the PlayStation 5 did.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of them. Mario Odyssey isn't it? There's a whole list of them.
There's a list of them.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
There are...
Trust us, bro.
Source. Trust me. Source my uncle. Uncle works at Nintendo. There's then a whole group of games that have paid Switch 2 editions or upgrades.
Now, these are like dramatic upgrades.
Huge upgrades.
With added content, like Kirby and the Forgotten Lands is getting a big one.
There's a whole DLC in that.
Same with even Metroid Prime. If you bought the Switch edition, Prime 4,
you can get the Switch 2
You could then
upgrade.
buy the upgrade to the Switch 2 version, which then enables HDR and high frame rate mode.
Zelda,
and all this stuff.
Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my days. Yeah.
If you haven't seen the side-by-side from the Treehouse, go and watch it, because it's like we're looking at a different game.
I thought, do you remember before the Nintendo Direct happened, I said, I bet there's some Digital Foundry stuff where they do a side-by-side. They didn't do it at all in the actual Direct, but they freaking did it like 3 hours into a Treehouse.
Yeah,
This should have been the first thing they showed on the trailer, because people would have just been like, "Oh my god!"
As soon as the Treehouse got to the controller demo bit, I was like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
And it was like an hour later, you go, "Zelda now!"
It's because I dipped out like quite early on, and then I came back thinking I can scrub through and just go through the whole thing. Like,
I was thinking, as someone in chat, Temperance makes reference to your uncle in Argentina.
Oh yes,
I should have made a bingo card especially for Nintendo's Direct.
Yes. But
Sorry.
that side by side should have been in the main Direct for everyone to see, because oh my god, like seriously,
it's unreal.
It is mind blowing.
Unreal.
It looks like you've got a Nintendo Switch 1 and then like a PC running like a 4080 or a 50 series graphics card running an emulator.
Like lighting,
is
texture,
insane.
A high frame rate. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
we're going to get into the gushing. We'll get into the gushing. Don't worry. The point being that there's a huge reason to pay for that upgrade if you wanted to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But also you don't have to if you've got Nintendo Switch Online.
Yes.
Which, if you're pre-ordering the Switch, chances are you already have that subscription.
Yes.
All of the Switch 2 upgrades are included in your Switch Online subscription.
Membership. Yeah. And if you remember when Nintendo Switch Online came out, everyone was like, well, this sucks. There's no reason to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, I cancelled mine
as well.
I cancelled mine years ago. But now it seems worthwhile.
Yeah.
Not only if you get the expansion pack, not only are you getting all of the previous consoles that are on there, you're getting GameCube, which we can talk about in a minute. You're also getting the chat facility.
Yeah.
Then you're getting the day one upgrades and whatever else I can point to my fingers for.
Can you make more lists with your fingers?
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying that.
If you count, then you can learn how to put numbers together.
We can't speak at the same time.
No, you can't speak. No,
they're limited.
Yeah.
So
limited resources in my computer.
The negative
unit.
press that those paid upgrade things are getting, I think a lot of it is built off of headlines and not really drilling into it.
It was spun badly, wasn't it?
It was spun badly, and to be fair, Nintendo have done a pretty poor job at communicating it.
Yeah.
Post Direct. If you don't want to pay for the upgrade, don't pay for the upgrade. Just play the original version and have a great time, because you still have a good time.
No, you won't. When you look at
Scarlet and Violet, you definitely won't.
when you look at the comparison, this is why they needed to show this, or the first screen of the Direct should have just been that.
Yeah.
And then they should have ended it, and then people would have just gone out and bought it. Because seriously, it goes from like 15 FPS to like 200. But anyway,
it's ridiculous.
I know we'll come back.
No, it's insanely good. I'm trying to think of what other sticking points there were about prices that people were unhappy with. Oh, the other one is there's a few games, not all of the games, and this is communicated badly as well because of headlines. There's a few games that the physical edition, the game's not on the cart. And
with the license key.
The license key is on the cart.
Yeah.
I will say there's some confirmation of games like Cyberpunk. The whole game, including the DLC, is on the 64 gig cart, so they've managed to compress it into that.
Yeah.
So there's some games where it is on there. There's certain games where they've not included the whole game on the cart. This happens in previous generations. It happens on every PlayStation 5 game I've ever bought.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's a big thing all of a sudden for Nintendo, but here we are.
Yeah.
What they've done that's really clever with that is your cart is your license key. You put it in the Switch, it downloads the game. So it needs the internet connection the very first time you play it. After that, it no longer needs the internet connection.
Yeah.
But you need the cart in because it's reading the license. But what that means is if you're done with that game, you can uninstall it, take your cart out, and sell it.
Yeah, yeah. Just like a normal
Switch game.
Yeah, yeah.
So all that is just your mobile license key that enables you to have ownership. And those people that love to buy and sell games, it means you can keep doing that with the games that aren't on the cart, which is notoriously a problem with digital downloads in the past. So they've managed to find a nice way around that. So I think for people that love physical games, it's a grotty compromise, but it's the best compromise that can exist without the game ending up being 150 quid because they need a 200 gig cart.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the use of the speeds that they're going to need now because of the SD card Express. Yeah. These game carts weren't cheap anyway for the Switch.
No.
They're going to be even more expensive now, which will be probably I'm going to say it now. I bet you the price rise now is purely because of the fact they're going to be on SD card Expresses now.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to hit
huge.
like 800 megabyte per second speeds on read. So the cost of upgrading per cart to that probably equates to about 15 quid more. And that would be why the games are 75 now.
Yeah, it's definitely, it'll be an expense for certain. So the digital key carts thing, I just think, it's a grotty compromise. No one, the lovers of physical games won't love it. But it's the best solution that can exist within the limitations of what's available.
Unfortunately, we're ever edging closer to digital-only future.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, I think we're there already.
PC's been there for 15 years.
PC's there already. PlayStation just give you a disc with nothing on it that spins around for days. Same with Xbox. Like, there's nothing on it. I bought... It wasn't Black Ops. It was the other one, Modern Warfare. So it's not even the latest one. The one before. There's nothing on the disc. Nothing.
Yeah.
You put it in, it downloads the entire game from their server. There's nothing on the disc. It's pointless. It's just got a key on it. It's got a 5-digit freaking code spinning around all the time. Like,
I want to address this. Anti-Mittinen. I've butchered your name. I am so sorry. It's Finnish. So, it speaks to your affinity a little bit. All Finnish retailers just announced their pricing for the Switch 2. €589 for the console and €649 for the Mario Kart bundle. As he puts, that's robbery. I'd love to purchase the console for $449. I have no idea why that is so expensive.
Say that
Finland.
Again?
€589.
What for the base?
For the baseline, and $649 for the Mario Kart. Euros.
Yeah.
That's like
I don't know what's the conversion at the minute. What's that work out in?
€650 is about £600.
Can't be right. Like, it can't be right.
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know what your sales tax is in Finland. If it's really high,
yeah, maybe it's high.
I know in Norway VAT's quite high, isn't it? I don't know about Finland.
Not sure.
That's savage. If that's the case, I can only feel sorry for you. But if you're in Finland, does that mean you're part of the Schengen area? You can just travel for Europe. Just go to another country in Europe and buy it, and then bring it home with you. That's what I would do.
You just import one.
You go on holiday, pick up a Switch 2 and come back. Come here. Yeah, and you can pick it up. There's a game store just opposite.
There is. Yeah, I mean, they just sell
Maybe we could do that.
footballs.
It's like a live event. Come and pick up your Switch 2s from us.
We'll scout them.
We could scout them.
Yes, and then we'll sell them to you at a higher price.
Auntie, I will sell you a Switch 2 for just £500 British pounds.
That's it.
There you go. Customer support says €649 equals £550 sterling. 550. It's £100 more than here.
More than
for the Mario Kart bundle.
Yeah, still more than that.
Yeah, it is.
Because ours is $430 for the Mario bundle, so it's £120.
Ouch. Okay, so there is some regional pricing problems that's happening that I guess might be adding to this anger. That does help understand it a little bit for me, why there's so much upset.
Yeah.
Maybe we're particularly lucky in the UK.
I'm not sure. I don't know how much regional wealth goes into it, because I know a lot of the northern countries, I know Finland's not
you
in
think like how game keys work?
No, I just mean in terms of like the country earns more money, so the population.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry. So, are you thinking about how the pricing?
Yeah,
for
sorry,
games
yes,
works?
yeah.
So, like, you can buy a Brazilian key a lot cheaper than you can buy it in the UK for the same game.
That kind of thing, but like almost in the opposite. So it's more expensive there because they're a higher earning country per person. Do you know what I mean?
There is an interesting part of this as well, that in Japan, there's a JDM version that is significantly cheaper, but it's locked, region locked to Japan, and language locked as well.
It's only Japanese, and it's the cheapest version. It's like $300 or something.
Yeah.
And then they also sell a multilingual one just at the normal regular price.
Well, fair enough for them. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's game pricing, basically.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be upset with it. It hurts.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. But that's the next generation. And I think I would predict that within 18 months, we'll be looking at Nintendo's pricing and going, it's really good value.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone's going to go higher than them.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll see PlayStation 5 games average 80.
Yes.
Xbox might be there as well, but obviously Game Pass kind of negates that slightly.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the exciting things then. The pros and the cons. We've done a lot of negativity about pricing now. And I feel like the most of the messaging I'm hearing out there, people upset, is pricing rather than specs. I saw someone in chat, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. It was a while ago. The chat moves quite quick. Was saying that their biggest disappointment is the battery life. And to that, I have to agree that the battery's smaller than I thought it was going to be.
This is tough.
It's 5,500 milliamp hours.
Yes.
Which is about 20 watt hours if you're used to that kind of numbers.
Yeah. So they estimate between 2.5 to 6 hours, did they say?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm coming from handheld PC land where you're looking at like 60 minutes, 1 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So 2.5 to 6 sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But that's just me in my use case. I'm used to having like the ASUS ROG Ally and maxing it out, 25 watts turbo mode, just to get the best performance. So if it means, and if I'm honest with my personal, this is totally personal, so I can't speak for any of you, but if I'm honest, I don't get that much time to sit down and play like in a long period of time.
You're
2.5 hours.
Short
sprints. So I mean,
almost.
like 2.5 hours for me to sit down and play non-stop for 2.5 hours is pretty rare. So it would have to be in an evening. I'm probably playing it docked. If not, I'm sat next to a charger.
Yeah. So I will say the beauty I found that the ASUS ROG Ally gave me was playing in sprints. Like you were just saying. When before, if I wanted to game, I'll turn on the Xbox or the PlayStation. I'll sit down and it's like, this is going to be a couple of hours a session. Taking over the TV, it's a big event almost.
Yeah.
The handhelds just allow me to pick them up and just play it for I'll play for half an hour.
Yeah.
Because I've got half an hour free. Let's just have a quick razz.
Yeah, you just turn it on and go.
It'd be quite rare that I think I'd sit there with a handheld and play for like 4 hours.
I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
It would more often not,
Yeah. It would be, I don't know, maybe I'm discounting too much the battery life thing there because it is discounting it. Ivan says, I think the small battery was to keep the weight down so younger audience can still use it.
Yeah,
absolutely
totally.
Right, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. It needs to still be thin enough. It can't be like big chonky thing.
Thin and light.
Because it's already huge. It's 7.9 inches.
7.9 inches.
So the thing is big.
And as we know from the news videos, 8 inches is the sweet spot.
That's it. Well, my wife already says that the Switch Lite...
I wish it was bigger.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, she's got the Switch Lite. And even that, she's like, meh. Because I was like, I'll get you a Switch OLED like when it come out. She was like, no, it's way too big, can't hold it.
Wow.
So, like, she's got the Switch Lite. She's got a Z1E Ally. She's like, I'm not using that. She just uses it docked. So I'm like, okay.
I can't remember. When the Switch launched, how long was it until Switch Lite launched?
12 to 18 months.
Do you think they're going to do that? Do you think they're going to do a trimmed down, just handheld version?
Possibly.
I imagine the Switch Lite was a good seller for them.
Yes.
Mainly because of the price.
Yeah. Maybe they do. Not sure. But I've already got my wife a Switch 2, and I'm sure she's going to complain.
I was just checking.
Did you think it dropped out?
Yeah, Andrew scared me and it said pause. I was like, what? Is the stream paused? No.
I saw that earlier pop up. I was like,
maybe there's some buffering.
Maybe it's the
screen size is much better for us older guys. My eyes ain't what they used to be.
Yes,
that's very true.
Yes.
The battery life thing is an issue. 20 watt hours, 5,500 milliamps isn't ideal. 2 hours gameplay for some of these big
but honestly,
games.
Just buy a power bank.
Plug it in.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you're traveling or whatever, I mean, to be fair...
Power bank, really important point that they just glossed out. They didn't really touch on it. You need to use the Switch 2 power bank for it.
Oh, the power adapter. Yeah. It's going to be like a 65 watt.
Yeah, because the Switch one it's 40 watts, I think.
It's like 39 or something stupid.
It's not going to be powerful enough to charge and play.
No, but I would recommend you get just a power bank.
Yeah,
get one of the big like 20, watt-hour ones or whatever. 20,000 milliamp hour ones.
You get the ones that kind of MagSafe onto cases and stuff, can't you?
Yeah.
They'll make it heavy though.
Yeah, and they're normally a bit rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like, get one of the big chonky ones with a high output of power. That will see you going if you're on a trip or something. But most trains have plug sockets.
Yeah.
Most coaches have plug sockets. Pretty much everything has a plug socket these days. Do you know what I mean?
It was good to see the changes in ergonomics as well, whilst we're talking about battery, because obviously it's bigger screen now. Joy-Cons are bigger. I think the most important part about that was that they made the joysticks bigger as well.
Yes.
Because that's awful on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to give them a test and see what they're like. And I'm really intrigued to see what third-party companies come out with.
Oh, yeah. We're talking to them all. As you know, we cover a lot of like third-party accessories for all the handheld stuff. It's a lot of Nintendo. They're all working on and imminently ready with cases and Joy-Con alternatives.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to try and test them all.
We're trying to get every single one we can. We'll do a massive Joy-Con off.
Yeah.
They're all working on them. My main turn-off was a flood of older games advertised. This is a new system. Fair comment. Third-party ergonomic controllers with built-in power bank would be nice.
Flood of older games. I'm intrigued by that because all I can think of is the handful of GameCube stuff, and then they showed the upgrade for Kirby Forgotten Lands, Zelda.
I think what he's or he or she Play Nice Games is referring to there is the third-party stuff, things like Hogwarts, Star Wars,
Star Wars is new. I would argue Outlaws is only
Elden
a few.
Ring. They're not brand new. I hear you. I think it was important that they showed them. Really important.
Yeah, it was massive.
Because they're like huge AAA titles being played on a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
It's really important that they could have waited and had like studios line up like exclusive games, third-party ones. But I think it was really important that they showed some Cyberpunk, I think specifically, and Hogwarts specifically. Huge games.
Yeah, I mean, Hogwarts is already on the Switch, but it probably runs about 10 FPS.
Yeah, it's awful.
Whereas now it's actually going to be playable. But seeing the one that did it for me, I know we're just jumping into games here, but when Elden Ring started playing, that was like mind blown. Because not only is that incredibly demanding on any system, but it's a very adult game.
Exactly, that was my exact thought. Yeah. When the camera pans down and you start seeing the world open up, you're like, wait. Not only is this like hugely demanding game that's melting people's devices, it is like Nintendo opening the door, not just going, we've got loads of third-party games, by the way. It's like opening the door saying, adult gaming is here now as well. We're back.
Yeah, it was wicked because...
It's GameCube's back, wasn't it? Like, Nintendo's back.
Yeah.
The door down.
First time like since the GameCube that Nintendo have cared about some performance here. But also seeing all these games was the equivalent of when I saw the Switch launch with Skyrim. Yeah. But obviously now on a bigger scale. Yeah. Like Elden Ring, Star Wars Outlaws, all these games, Cyberpunk on a Nintendo.
Insane.
What? It just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
I will stick on games for a second. There's going to be some really exciting games coming, I think. Squiggles 420, it makes a really kind of hilarious point, which actually leads me to it saying Switch 2 still can't play Fallout New Vegas.
I'm sure it will soon.
I'm sure it will soon. Because, well, not just the New Vegas, but Fallout games are going to be coming. Yeah. For certain.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably see Starfield. Yeah. We're going to see the whole range of Blizzard Activision games, all of Bethesda's games.
Yeah, Call of Duty sooner than later.
Call of Duty is going to happen. Yep. We have to acknowledge that what Nintendo have done here is they've embraced their core, like, cozy game vibe and the fun game stuff, but also open the door to say, we're now able to play all of your favorite AAA games. And we're going to sit ourselves right in the middle of the console market now, rather than off on the edges as the cozy console. We're like smack bang in the middle. You want to play those awesome games on your TV? Wicked, but watch it. When you pull it out the dock without ejecting it, just pull it out, you now take that awesome game with you on the go.
Done. Without faffing around with settings and everything
for 400
else.
quid.
Exactly, yeah.
What?
It's incredible.
Insane.
I really like the look of Donkey Kong. Since we're on games, Donkey Kong looked really cool. 3D Donkey Kong.
3D Donkey with
like,
destructible environment.
I'm so getting that.
Yeah,
like,
it does look
really good. But
fun.
my obviously like biggest Nintendo Switch 2 title is Metroid Prime 4. Like
that looks amazing, like beautifully amazing as well.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. The performances that they showed there, and the first time we then saw.
They need to do a better job of marketing it.
Yes,
need to do a better job of marketing it, because the last Metroid Dread, obviously it's a 2.5D, and it didn't sell nearly as well as it should do for a game of that caliber.
Yeah.
I don't think Prime Remaster did particularly well.
I think it did over 1 million.
For Nintendo,
yeah, but in terms of Prime,
like the Metroid franchise,
that's what I mean for the Metroid franchise.
They just need to do more, because I think what that game does is showcase the best bits of Nintendo 2025.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be a phenomenal game. But just the fact that they showed it going 4K 60 or 1080p 120, it's like what? And then they showed it handheld, and they went 1080p. 60
handheld.
Hang on, handheld, and they went 720p 120. It's like what?
I never for a minute thought that we would see games on a Nintendo being played in 4K 60 FPS,
or even 120.
The first-person shooters with like active lighting, like full-on environments and stuff going on.
I never thought we'd see performance mode and quality mode.
Giving you the choice.
Never thought we'd see that.
It's pretty mad. The handheld thing as well. Having a 7.9-inch VRR HDR 120 hertz screen, is insane.
Yeah, it's mad.
Not being talked about enough, because it's not OLED. Everyone's just like, it's not OLED, I'm out.
It's going to be a mini LED, isn't it?
It's going to be mini LED because of that HDR.
It's got to be, and I can't wait to see it in person next week on Friday when we go up to London to have a go on one. Like I fully expect the screen to be so underrated, because everyone's expecting it to be rubbish, because everyone's first thought is LCD, it's going to be rubbish.
We're going to do I think we're going to do multiple videos, but there's definitely going to be a video just on the screen, so we can see it. I want to acknowledge some of the chat about the games. I love F-Zero. I was hoping for a new one, but I'll take being able to play GX on the GameCube.
I'll take GX any day.
We were all hoping for a new one.
I was hoping for GX, honestly.
I will say, though, if you were hoping for a new one, there is a Gravity Racer that they've released on there.
They showed it in the Direct, didn't they?
Showed it for like 5 seconds. I can't remember the name.
After the GameCube bit, I think.
Yeah, it was in the montage of quick montage of games, and we had there was like Hollow Knight, Silk Song Hollow Knight was shown.
It was. Yeah, it was shown
weirdly.
There. Yeah, they just dropped it in there.
But there was a Gravity Racer shown that gave me Wipeout and F-Zero kind of crossover vibes. It was like, I definitely want to play that. That looks amazing.
I want a new F-Zero, don't get me wrong, but I wanted F-Zero GX first.
What's up, gents? I was wondering if MobilePad is making a Switch 2 compatible edition of the M6 HD. That is legitimately a system seller for me. I agree with you. MobilePad make the most beautiful Joy-Con alternatives.
They're great.
A very happy sponsor of the channel as well.
Yes,
but,
indeed.
They're working on stuff.
They're working on stuff, but they haven't
given us a date yet.
They haven't given us anything. But they have gone and said, like, all your previous accessories will work on the Switch.
Yes.
It's just obviously they're not going to
Yeah, they're not going to attach. No. If you've got one of the grips, even the Nintendo grips, they'll work wirelessly. The wireless protocols will still work. But you can't attach them.
Yeah.
I think standards for Nintendo are lower than other companies. I could never see PS6 or the new Xbox showing off old games and getting praise. Let's be honest, that's play nice games. That's an interesting one. I think it was important. I hear what you're saying. It was important for Nintendo to show games that people understand and know already.
Yeah,
because they're trying to communicate that they've changed.
Because Nintendo have got such a cult following for retro games. Yeah. I mean, Xbox wasn't even around when Nintendo was making games, right?
Yeah.
So there is such a big nostalgic love of Nintendo that they're gonna start showing some older titles.
Yeah.
It's just not really there on like Xbox side, I would argue.
But also, I guess the older titles, those AAA ones that were showcased, isn't it? Like, I think it was important for them to show them.
Absolutely important, but also because it's already a big foundation of what the Switch is.
Yeah.
Because of Switch Online.
Yes.
It's purely a retro goldmine.
Yeah.
So this wasn't just for your average AAA player. This is serving everybody. And it was serving the oldies like us that want to play the old stuff.
All right, Captain Chats has put super chat in. With storage now being 256, what size SD card do you guys recommend? How big are games on the Switch these days? Or is internal enough for now?
Ooh.
That is a beautiful question.
Perfect question. Love that question.
256. Firstly, we have to say that's a huge improvement from 64. Wasn't it?
64 on the OLED, 32 on the non.
Right, so it's huge. But some games are big. I imagine if you're one of those people who's going to get Cyberpunk for the Switch 2, they managed to fit it on a 64 gig card. I think that's going to expand once installed.
Possibly,
yeah.
I
can't imagine they got the whole game within 64 gig.
I don't know. I might do. I mean, when you think about PC, you probably look at 100 gig for something like Cyberpunk. So 64 gig,
maybe.
Yeah, I reckon so. So I'd say that gives us a good indication that games are probably, let's just argue, 70 gig.
Yep.
Yeah, so with an update here or two.
And you've got to allow space for the operating system as well. So say you've got 240 available for storage.
I would say you're probably looking at
240. 21. You could get 3 big games on there.
3 like AAA massive titles like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, Star Wars Outlaws, and then you're done. If you're looking at like Mario Kart, I bet you that would be like 32 gig.
Oh, I think so,
maybe 40 gig at like a push.
I don't think it's even that big.
It might be more because of the whole online thing. We don't know.
Maybe.
But I would say start out with your internal memory and see what kind of games you want to play. Because if you're like fully only going to be AAAing it and you're not buying physical, you're only getting digital, then I do think expanding the storage is worth it. If you're going to be buying physicals like Cyberpunk where it comes on the cart, then 256 will be fine. Yeah. But I've already bought my upgrade card for mine. Just be aware that microSD card Express are not cheap. Like, they are not cheap cards, and you cannot use normal microSD cards. It won't expand the storage. That will only work for your video files and your screenshots. So you need microSD card Express to run your games on it because of the speeds that it can hit. So I've bought a 256 gig card. So in total, I have a 512 gig, system. And I will just have to chop and choose what I want to download and play because I know everyone's going to hate me. I'm going all digital. I'm not buying physicals for the Switch 2. I'm just going to go digital only.
Can we have like F's for respect or pitchforks in chat? I don't know which you choose.
It'll be the first time. I mean, my wall at home's like this, but for Nintendo.
If you're getting a Switch or Switch 2, I want to know: are you going all digital or physical as well? Like all digital. Let's put like X1 or something in chat. I just want to know, or just let us know in text.
So I would recommend if you're going all digital like me. Play it safe, probably get a 256 gigabyte because that's the best bang for buck.
Yes.
Like once you go upwards from that, it gets very expensive. And what I would say as well, don't buy them off Amazon.
Don't buy them off Amazon.
Go direct to the manufacturer. So just a little story time here, obviously not sponsored or anything, but SanDisk.
Could be, if they're listening.
Yeah, SanDisk, come on. Throw some microSD card Expresses my way.
Make it rain.
Yeah, that's it. But not money, just all the storage. Just give it to us. So just for example, right, a 256 gigabyte microSD card on Amazon, the SanDisk, so we're not changing brands here, was £90 yesterday. Or it was 80 actually. I think it was £80. It was the Lexar that was 90. So SanDisk, 256 gigabyte, SD Express, £80. I bought it direct from them for 50. So that was a lot cheaper. Once you go up to the 512 gigabytes, you're into like £150, like on Amazon. And then if you just Google it, most people are around that price.
Bring that into perspective though. Like, if it's like 100 odd quid for 512 SD Express, micro SD Express, sorry, the Xbox expansion.
Oh, it's loads, isn't it?
It's a similar price. Xbox one's slightly cheaper.
It's
granted.
cheaper, yeah. It's what 1 terabyte's like 100.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see the prices of these drop because they're still relatively new. Micro SD Express.
I think the price will go up first because of the demand from everyone wanting one for the Switch 2.
Well, we're talking about an 8-year console generation ahead of us. So don't rush into it.
And it's new tech. Like as tech ages, it gets cheaper.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's kind of new. And you're going to have this. You're going to have this Switch for 7-8 years for certain.
Yeah.
You're not going to fill up 256 gigs straight away. In fact, Captain Chats, who did the super chat, did go off and find out and put in chat what the sizes are.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to fill it up anytime soon, so don't panic about it straight away unless you're like Andy and plan on spending all the money in the world on every game and installing it all at the same time. And the other thing is just don't install all the games you buy.
That is a big thing. Like
which you can totally do.
Or just install them all.
Yeah. I'll skip through some chat. He's put Mario Kart World's 23.4 gig.
There you go.
Donkey Kong 10, GameCube Classics 3.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Party Jamboree 7.
It'll be the third-party titles that are big, just like Cyberpunk. There'll be a reason why it's on a 64-gig card.
Someone did put about Cyberpunk on PC. Oh, it might have gone.
Yeah, it'd be 100-plus gig, easy.
Yeah, it would be big anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC, I think it's 150 gig.
Pork says, what's the price difference between normal SD cards and the fancy one the Switch 2 uses? Great way of putting it.
Kind of said.
Yeah. It's about double.
Yeah, more than double.
Tempera says Fast Fusion. Yes, that Gravity Racing is called Fast Fusion.
Yes.
Thank you, mate.
That's cool. You can always rely on Temperius to get the facts out.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude says a Mario machine should be $200, and it is. It's called the Switch One.
It's called an emulator.
It's called an emulator. Yeah, just get an amber neck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cyberpunk is 60 gig on PC, apparently.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
I was fully expecting.
Well, that makes
100.
sense as to why it'll fit on the 64 gig card. I thought they've compressed everything through. Even though I'm getting a Switch 2, I'll be using emulators on PC when available.
Yeah.
I think the higher prices will push people towards emulation. Yeah, possibly. I think in the game community, the us lot that watch videos and make videos and stuff, I think we overestimate how many of us there are compared to how many people game. And you have to remember that there's 150 million Switches out there. I think the active player base was 140 million last year.
Yes.
It was massive.
Yeah.
140 million. We compare that to like us super nerds that buy like Steam Decks and ASUS ROG Allies and PC Master Race over here. Like their PC handheld's 6 million. So I think we overestimate how many people have technical knowledge enough to emulate stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. The emulation is so niche. Such a niche.
Will Andy do an SSD upgrade video for the Switch 2 so I can brick another device?
Yes.
I don't even have to tell you who that's from.
That's pork.
Yeah. No.
Luckily, the SSD, I am going to make videos on it because the videos we made about the original Switch still go crazy views just for like showing people how to use an SD card.
Yeah.
So I will be going through that.
Angie says, I wish you could go all physical, but those dang key card things make it impossible.
Yeah.
And Play Nice on the opposite end of the spectrum says, digital from now on. I never get my old physical games out to play, but on PC, I play them all with Steam.
Yeah.
And I love that because...
Convenience.
Yeah, Steam Library showed us everything. It also showed us a beautiful vision of how digital ownership can work over the long term as well. I think about, I always bring up your copy of Half-Life 2.
Yeah, and then playing the save from like 20
open it on the Steam Deck
ago,
and going, oh, look, it's my save file from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
What? Yep. Still there. It's like archaeology.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you had it installed, though. It was obviously just saved on the cloud. It's yeah, it's a beautiful vision. If Nintendo can keep that vision, and they don't have the greatest history of this kind of stuff, but in one of the business meetings they had about the success of the Switch before the Switch 2 launched, they said one of the biggest things is maintaining a crossover of ownership, so your account follows you is really important.
That's a big thing.
So
from
I think
now,
they're acknowledging this thing now.
From now, your account's actually, because I've lost multiple Nintendo accounts. I had the 3DS. I was one of the idiots that paid full price for the 3DS.
Oh, don't worry. You got the Founders Edition.
Yeah, I got the Founders Edition. Ambassadors Edition is what they're called.
Yeah.
Where it was the only time they put Game Boy Advance games on there. You could only have them if you had that license. Because I queued up at midnight in 2011 to get my 3DS at the shop. Paid full price. Then like right afterwards, they slashed the price.
Yeah.
Gave all the people that paid full price the Ambassadors Edition and a load of free games. It was like something like 25 free GBA games. And I got locked out of my account. I couldn't recover it or whatever, and that was it. I lost it. And I had no way of accessing it. It was such a shame. So I've had like 2 or 3 different Nintendo accounts other than this one, which I think I started when the new 3DS came out, which was 2015, I think. And then I've had the same one since.
Yeah.
And I've seen them doing the like link this account with your new Nintendo account because we've made a new Nintendo account and link it to this one. So my account's like jumped over all these different hoops. And now it seems to be they've locked it down to this, like, okay, you're just going to have one account, and there we go, you know.
Can I ask chat what you guys think of the awesome camera system? Not this live stream. I mean, the Nintendo $50 camera.
We're actually live streaming right now from a Switch 2.
It strikes me so much of like Kinect.
I love it. It's great. Yeah, it's cool. I'm not going to use it.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it.
It's so...
Yeah, but I put yourself in little Billy's shoes.
Do you know what's amazing with that? The broader thing is that Nintendo have finally embraced like game chat. We never thought it was going to happen.
I'm still dubious about it because, you know, how are they going to monitor that? They're not.
Well, like, I've deep dived this because I had exactly the same, like, this is wild.
It's going to be
camera
sketchy.
In a chat. There's going to be junk sent all over the world.
Exactly,
here.
That's it.
Everything they showed about it and everything they've showcased so far, you could only chat with people in your friends list. Like closed groups.
But what if you're friends with a real weirdo?
But I mean, that can happen anyway. And yes, you are friends with a complete weirdo. And yes, we do Discord together. I won't tell you what's going to happen in the Discord. Reminds me of what I wanted in the 90s, but now it's 2025.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The camera is unnecessary. Totally agree with you. Why not just have Discord on it? Smithy says, yes.
That's what I said it was when it came up.
And let's be honest,
Discord on
they've just ripped Discord off as well. The UI and everything's like Discord.
I think it's really good because there's been no social aspect on the previous Switch.
Dragon969. The camera quality is worse than the PS2 iToy. Do you know what I said to Andy as it happened? I texted him. I was like, wait, is that the Game Boy camera?
Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah, it was like 240p. Like,
and like game sharing, like that's kind of cool.
I like it.
Like if we're all playing Mario Kart, for example, we can share game.
Yeah.
If I'm playing Donkey Kong and you're playing Mario Kart, we can still game share and still chat. So it's Discord, basically.
Yeah, you do the chat, yeah.
The only thing I will say is that streaming at 1 FPS is pretty pointless.
Yeah.
Did you see the previews?
Yeah, but I think that's kind of fine because you're not taking processing power away from your own game.
True.
If you were trying to like render the stream out like at high res for like 4 tiles and your game, it's gonna chug. Like it's gonna chug on your game. And if I'm honest, because you can choose whether or not you're watching them, I just wouldn't watch. I don't care what you're doing. I want to play my game. I'll talk to you. That's fine.
But as we go through, I want people in chat just to like things that jumped out to you that are exciting or terrible. Just put them in, and we'll talk about them as we finish up. Because Porks just reminded me the Pro controller.
I like this. I'm gonna buy one.
With I accidentally said back paddles, and someone had to correct me in chat.
It's got back paddles on it.
Back buttons.
No, it's got back paddles.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Just because it doesn't have an Xbox Elite freaking stick hanging out the back.
It's a rudder.
Yeah. No, but that's what they are, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, so it's got buttons or paddles.
How many controllers have I reviewed?
Hundreds.
And I refer to every single one of them as a back paddle.
I know you do.
Not one person has ever corrected me.
A lot of the stuff I know about controllers I've learned from watching your videos. And
it's all wrong.
It's all wrong. Clearly, because as soon as I say it, I get shot down.
It was me. No!
You've got that wrong.
It's not a back pedal, it's a button.
Not just the Pro controller, though. I will say about the Joy-Cons as well. We glossed over the new Joy-Cons. The first Joy-Con ever to have, as Bob Wolf called it, the credit card button. Because the C button, the chat button, only works if you're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber.
Yeah, it's true. It's a paid,
it's a paid
physical button.
So Bob Wolf called it the credit card button,
I like that.
Which I thought was amazing.
The cash, ching.
Yeah.
It should make like coin noises when you press it.
Like a Mario coin.
Yeah.
But I wonder, they didn't address this at all. They haven't addressed zero about the hardware of the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Have they installed Hall effect?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think they're going to roll the dice with the drift again?
Yeah. It was sure blah, 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 I can't speak. It was purely down to the physical size of it.
Yeah, too small.
That caused the problem. Just it was too many moving parts in such a small thing. I mean, we've been using potentiometer sticks ever since joysticks were created. Granted, Dreamcast changed it with the Hall effect, but they were the only ones that did it, and no one cared.
Nobody talked about it.
And people still, to these days, have retro controllers that have potentiometer sticks that are fine.
Yeah.
So it's hit or miss. You can still get drift on Hall effect sticks, but it's just way lower chance. I really hope that they have changed it to Hall effect, because it would really serve them not to, in terms of like repairs.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that it is just a potentiometer stick, and I think they could still drift. But I think the chance would be less likely than the original joystick.
Bigger joystick.
Yeah, but just because of the whole module's bigger.
I'll say I've had drift on controllers with big joysticks, Xbox and PlayStation. If you play with it enough,
like your mother always said,
it will fall off.
It will fall off and break. You know, so.
It's so true. Absolute insane performance. Can I just say, like, I want to forget about all the negativity and everyone being upset about prices and stuff, just for a minute, and just take a step back and just go, that whole direct, I was smiling ear to ear.
Yeah.
And each little bit got me more and more excited and more surprised. I couldn't believe this was Nintendo.
I can't believe it's Nintendo. That's it. That's I felt like a kid. And that's the thing is, if I was a kid, I mean, I know the world's different now, but if you took one of these back and gave it to me when I was a kid,
Back to the Future style.
Yeah. I think I would have just died.
Yeah.
From excitement.
Are you Marty McFly or Biff?
I thought I was what's the doctor guy?
Doc Brown.
The Doc Brown, that's him. So, you know, the hair's a bit, you know, when it goes white.
1.21. You got Doc Brown hair.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wow, it's cool.
So when I'm his age, whatever the next ally will be, at that point, I'll like supercomputer them together and make a time machine.
I should have worn my DeLorean t-shirt. I didn't think about it. Pork says, has the pre-order window gone now? And is average Joe like me, who forgot about the pre-order, able to get one at release? Or do we think it's going to be months before I can get one? I don't think there's going to be a supply problem at all.
Well, we're only saying that because we've already bought them. We don't have a problem, Pork. Screw you.
Channel members, if you'd like a Switch, I'll have a couple for sale. Just like 800 quid each. No, I don't think it's going to be a problem. There was talk about the stock availability they would have in the first month. Wish I could remember the number. I did it in the news story. It was in the multiple millions.
I would say if you can get your hands on one, get one. We got one purely because I saw someone on Twitter saying that Argos was selling them early.
Yeah.
And we managed to actually get orders in immediately. No one's meant to have pre-orders open until next Tuesday.
It's bizarre, but all the retailers have just gone with it.
Yeah. So just check the places, Pork. So I know you're UK, so check Toy Smith's Toy Store.
Smith's Toy Store.
Argos.
Currys.
EE is one.
EE is a great one.
EE, the phone company. Like, you don't have to take a contract or anything. You can just buy straight from there. Currys, like you said. They're all selling them right now. But we jumped on yesterday.
I would even say there's potential that Amazon will have it as well.
Yeah.
They're normally quite good. Whether Amazon will fulfill or not is a different one. I've had problems with them for pre-orders in the past.
I think when the proper pre-order date hits on Tuesday, it's going to go mad.
Yeah.
Like, I really do think it will.
It's invite and allocation from the official Nintendo sites
themselves. Yeah.
And if you didn't realise, for the official ones, you have to have a continuous 2-year-old Switch Online account.
Yeah.
And they're allocating the invites on a game playtime basis.
Yes.
So ordering who's put the most hours in recently.
Yeah.
So active accounts.
And only one person in a family can buy one.
Yes, you can only buy one per family group.
Yeah.
And like, even we're in a family group.
We're in a family, so yeah.
Because I'm his son, if you didn't realise.
Yes. So it
We've
wouldn't.
both got an uncle in Argentina.
But so if we were both trying to order one, it wouldn't let them. Yeah, no, it wouldn't let us. Same with my wife.
Ivan says, how long until we get a third-party OLED mod? I implore you, if that happens, do not install it. Don't be bricking your Switch for an OLED screen.
We talked about the OLED in length.
Yeah, earlier. And Captain Chat says, how come UK retailers have jumped the gun with pre-orders? I honestly don't know.
No idea. I think just to get the orders in.
Yeah, and it's bizarre, but
I have no idea why.
Yeah, we got wind, like you said, because Insider Gaming had tweeted about it.
Yeah,
Argus had put their pre-orders up yesterday. We jumped on, got it. Within an hour, they were gone.
They were just sold out.
Sold out straight away.
And I managed to get 2 because I got one for my wife. Yeah. I sold it to AJ
straight on eBay.
3 times the price.
Yeah, it's fine. I
said, AJ, look, I got Switch 2.
Yeah,
$3,000, and he went, fuck yeah,
great, let's go.
Yeah. But
I want to play Elden Ring.
But yeah, so we got some somehow, and we all got the confirmation texts like hours later saying, "Yep, you've definitely got the order." But that's one per account. You have to have separate accounts.
The other thing I want to ask, if anyone who's still here, does anyone have any burning questions about hands-on hardware that we can answer from the Switch event next week? So
we're going
this time next week. We'll be done. We'll be on the way home.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
We're getting it to the hands-on event at the XL in London. So we're going to get to feel it, play it, look at the screen.
We're going to be blindfolded.
Yeah. we're gonna film as much as we physically can from there.
Yes.
We're going to do a whole bunch of videos on like the specific parts that we see.
Yes.
No waffle. Well, lots of waffle.
Loads of rambling.
Rambling. But I want to know, like, if you've got any burning questions about, like, you know, what does the screen look like? How does it feel? What those joysticks like? We'll try and answer as many of those questions as we can. Captain Chat says he got his pre-order on Very and another on Amazon for his kid.
Nice.
How long does it take to boot from off? Great question. We'll find that out. Load times are insane.
They actually showed that in the Treehouse. Yeah. And also, just so you know, once we're finished streaming here, go over to Nintendo because they're still live doing the Treehouse again.
Is it another one? Is it? Wow.
Yeah, it started today when we went live.
Yeah. Of course. We timed that well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so there might be more info there. But yeah, you are right that in that Treehouse event, they showed Zelda load times, and it is like 10 times faster.
10 times faster, yeah.
But I fully suspect they won't allow us to turn on and on the system at the event.
Booting it.
I think it's going to be, it's on, you can play on it or whatever, but that will be it.
Yeah.
If we can sneak in shutting it down and turning it on, I'll try.
And if I can sneak out any Switch 2s from the event, I'll of course just put them in the like members area for raffle or something.
They might have like ink all over it, you know, when you steal stuff and... You know, when you rob a bank with money.
Have you seen anything from the press events? They're all chained.
Oh, they? Yeah,
they're chained down.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you can't
Astral chain.
They're astral chained. I want to see Xenoblade. I want to see Xenoblade.
I'm surprised they didn't show it in the direct. I want to see a Xenoblade Chronicles X Switch 2 edition.
Yeah.
Because I'm buying that.
Yeah.
Like
same.
As soon as they like released Xenoblade Chronicles X on PC, on Switch 1, I was like, I'm not buying that because I want the Switch 2 version.
Yeah.
You know? So
I'd like to know more about how the UI has changed.
Yes.
And could you take your OLED Switch to compare screens, please? I don't think we'll be allowed in with it. But
I'll switcheroo it.
As soon as it lands, we will.
Yeah. Once
we'll do a screen
ours
comparison.
I think
and we'll deep dive on the screen as much as we can there, because I think everyone's going to be very surprised at how good it is. Oh, and the sticks, do they feel more comfortable than normal sticks on the controller? Ivan says, I'd like to know how much, if any, LCD backlight bleed and blooming there is. I think it's going to be very impressive because it's going to be mini LED.
We think it's mini LED, so I don't think there's going to be half the problems we're anticipating from an LCD.
Who do we send money for the Switch 2 raffle ticket to? Your uncle in Argentina?
Yes.
No, send it to me. I'll make sure he gets it. Tempera says, is our prediction of AJ filming from jail going to come true then? Because I start stealing the Switch 2. Yes, if I end up in jail, I'll make sure the news carries on. Don't worry, I'll just do it from my phone.
Yes.
In the New York event, people were taking their old Switch in.
Wow.
Maybe we will then.
I'll try to take mine. Sorry, I don't miss you.
The only other thing is that it's a long way to be taking a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We're, for those of you that know the UK tour, we're in Cornwall, so
we're like
as far away as you
5 hours.
Yeah, so it's a 4.5 hour train and then the tube. So it'll be fun. Anyway, Anyway, I want to wrap it up there. It's been
Bye.
That's it. It's been an hour 45 for our inaugural live 128 KB news.
How did you like the live experience? Did you enjoy seeing us like you see us on the podcast?
And in true 128 KB fashion, we've started a new thing. It's going to be a regular event, and next week we're not going to do it.
I was going to say, we're going to stop it.
Next week we can't do it because we're in London.
Yeah, we're in London.
So normal videos will resume. There's some podcasts we've recorded for next week. I might do a news video at some point or something as well. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what news is going to be like next week.
Don't know. But on Thursday you're coming to mine.
On Thursday I'm coming to Andy's house.
Because he's got to stay over so we can get the train from mine.
Oh, we're going to spoon. Big spoon, little spoon.
That's it.
Is your wife all right with that?
No, you're spooning the dog.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
He's big enough for a good hug.
Captain Chat says, just got 256 SD card from Shop2 for £49.
Oh, nice.
That's congratulations.
That's good price.
Good job, boys. Really like the live. Have they addressed the silly Ram Point fanboyism in their last video yet? Yes, I did, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's rampant, but it is fanboyism. Yeah, it's true. No, it's just trying to be positive and excited for new things, whereas everyone else just wants to be negative. So that's my take on it.
I mean, Nintendo just made a console that's 10 times more powerful with ray tracing and DLSS upscaling with an HDR, G-Sync VRR, 1080p, 120 hertz screen that can run up to 4K 60 from Nintendo.
It's quite exciting.
It's pretty exciting. I mean,
the games are £5 more expensive than the last generation.
Yes.
That is a problem.
It's a problem.
Anyway, we love you guys. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Good and bad as well. It's always welcome in the chat. If you've got anything else you want to add to the comments, do so live video. Make sure you like this before you leave as well, because that really does help us out. We will, of course, see you from the show next week and more videos too.
Yes, indeed.
And we hope you enjoy. I've got to press a button to get this to end, so I'm going to press it right here. We love you a long time.
Yes, indeed. And have a nice day.
It's so good. Bye.